Treasures, a CTV Perth production. Today we're coming to you from Garside and Webb in Perth. Stay tuned, we have lots of valuable treasures and non-valuable treasures that you guys have bought in at home. Our experts will evaluate them and tell you a little bit about the history behind them all. Behind me I've got one of my experts now, Jilly Hayes. She's an expert on jewellery and silverware. Let's go have a look what the others are doing.
You're on Talking Treasures and I've been joined by Chris. And Chris, you've got a set of books here. Tell me a bit about the history.
Well, I was just sort of passed down. We've had it in the family for a while, so I just thought I'd bring it in, and I heard that Garside and Webb do a pretty thorough valuation, so I thought I'd bring it in and see perhaps what it's worth.
You've struck the gold mine. I'm a librarian for a living, and I see a Solander box covered in leather, and I say to myself, how much money did you pay for this? Because this is a very expensive treatment for a book. Sometimes the information in it might be not all that interesting. Someone might just think it's worthy of this sort of treatment. But this is a gift presentation pack. So whoever was giving this away was considering it worthy of giving the gift and worthy the person who's receiving it of lavishing some money on. A box to make like this costs you $60 or $70. If you're trying to do it in Australia. The books themselves have been bound in this olive green leather, and it is leather, it's not leatherette. It's got this is called a glassine protection on the book, so you can see through the dust jacket and see the cover beyond. This book appears to be a 100th anniversary volume for this popular Bank of Navarra, an Italian compilation. Yes, the book's in Italian, and here we have the bank and its boardrooms. We have some material from the bank itself. So this is sumptuous, I think you'd call this production. Like a company that's got far too much money and doesn't really know what to do with it, but it is a bank. So it's happy to spend the shareholders' money on talking about how they have been a fabulous company. Something of the notes that they've made themselves. This is something of the production that the company itself has made in the time that it's been there and the housing that it's actually had. And obviously they've done quite well as a bank. So 100 years on, they're wanting to tell people about them as a bank. A book like this, if this was all that was in this casing, is not that interesting to an Australian reader. I mean, why are we interested in the history of Italian banks? But there'd be some people out here that would be interested in the book, would maintain some money. But the second volume in here, and just remove it from the box, is a history of money in Italy from the 2nd century, or 200 years around the time of 1870 through to 1970. So this second volume is dealing with 100 years of Italian money for all banks and all periods, and this is fabulous. This is a truly interesting book. I say that as a reference librarian because it's page after page of various bank notes, various types of currency that have been produced in Italy. And you might say, okay, well, a single Italian bank, there's not much interest in that from my point of view, even though the family's now got this book. But a history of bank notes and a history of coinage in Italy for the last 100 years. Now that the European Union's come along and the lira's disappeared and they're using the European euro, this is a very interesting book, historically and for note and bank and coin collectors. So if you want to have a thoroughgoing catalogue illustrating and coins and notes of this nature, for a collector this is a Bible. It's a beautifully produced Bible. I'd be very surprised if this book didn't raise somewhere in the region of $200 to $300 at auction in Australia.
That much?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
And in terms of selling this book, buying it back from a dealer after you bought it at auction, they might actually have some. The nature of the binding is screaming $500 to $600, so you might actually get real money. And of course, you can find a coin collector that's willing to pay you the money the book's worth rather than the auction price. Your family's going to do very well.
Oh, excellent.
So hang on to it if the subject matter is of interest. Put it to auction, and you'll realise real money on a book produced this sumptuously.
I think it might go to auction.
Thanks for bringing it in, Chris.
Thank you. No, thank you very much.
morning, Kevin. You brought some things in to show us today. You've got some really interesting bits and pieces. The first and most important of them would be this nice little child's mug, a nursery mug. It's very unusual insofar as it's got the decoration's got koalas on it. Was this yours or?
Oh no, it's been around the house for some time.
Has it? Mm-hmm. It's very interesting. It's English made. It's falconware. The decoration is extremely unusual. Any other decoration but this, and it would be a fairly modest sum. But kangaroos, koalas, I've never seen one with koalas and kangaroos on it. It would be valuable on two fronts, on the Australiana front and also on the cricketing front. So you've probably got $200, maybe even $300 worth in that little mug, because it's very unusual. Made in the 40s, I'm guessing. A very nice 30s, 40s, very nice object. So keep that safe, tucked away somewhere. This one is less uncommon. This is a Bunnykins, Dalton Bunnykins piece. They make a whole range, they're still making it. And you can still buy it today. This one is probably in the 60s or thereabouts. This registered trademark tends to denote it's later rather than sooner, but they haven't changed a great deal. And they always have the galloping rabbits around the outside. Each bowl or cup generally has a different scene on it. They bring about $50, $60 for a feeding bowl, something like that. Rather less for an ordinary cereal bowl or mug or whatever. And the mug would look very much like that, only with rabbits and such like on it, and probably would only bring $40, $50. But, and it will retain its value and acquire a little as it goes along. I hope that helps.
Oh, it certainly does. I wasn't sure about this one at all.
Yes.
This one here, we were hoping for something, so...
Yes, well, you know, that is a very uncommon article. I see this sort of thing every day, and I've never seen one with koalas on, never seen one with koalas playing cricket.
Oh.
So it's a rarity.
Oh, thanks very much.
No worries at all.
You're watching Talking Treasures, and we're rifling through Garside and Webb's collection of hidden treasures. Matt, what have I got here? Matt?
Yep.
Matt, what have I got over here?
You've got a ceremonial mask on your head which shouldn't really be played around with.
Sorry.
And this one here, I was just going through a small ceremony myself, getting ready for today's show.
So that was professional, yeah?
Yeah, I thought so. What we've got here is a collection of artefacts, and we've got some nice, interesting masks along the front here, and they're all a bit different. They're all basically Kiwi Island artefacts, and some you can see have been sort of no finish at all on them, and they're natural. And as you see along the next one here, very sort of Maori orientated and hand painted with ochres and different colours and different things. Did you have any questions on any of these artefacts at all?
Yeah, what type of ceremonies were they used for?
Mainly dancing, things probably like funerals and weddings, and anything ceremonial like the knighting of a leader, or it could just be like a weekly tradition of a get-together of tribes. But a lot of these pieces are very unusual, and they make them very big in size. And a lot of these carved from a full tree trunk, and they'd go into detail of all hand carving all of these areas, and then painting them with lots of ochre of whites and reds and creams, and then dressing them up on the sides with things like feathers. A lot of them you'll find are inlaid with cowrie shells. Some of them are inlaid with mother of pearl and other things, but they're sort of coming back into collection now because people like these sort of things in their traditional set units and things like that. They're setting artefacts up and they look really nice.
How old would these be?
They're going to vary from about 1880 through to about 1940. They're all various things, and this is a particularly nice fine carved club. And as you can see, all the burnt etched decorations into the club.
Wow.
and a nice beaded handle on there as well. Very heavy, and this one probably ceremonial for dancing, but one that you see like this would have certainly been used as a fighting club.
A bit of damage there.
Yeah, and it's a nice heavy sort of club.
Stay away from
yeah, and yeah, certainly used in fighting.
Got some spearheads over here.
Yeah, they're made of carved from glass, and they've been set just for a collector on the board. But as you can see, you know, nice arrowheads, little ones for fish, maybe rabbits. A couple of these ones are made from stone, and a couple, this one here, from glass. And what they're used for is, you know, strapped to the long poles and probably bound with pig gut or something like that, nice and strong. And then they'd melt them down and harden them up with like sap or wax off the trees. These are sort of like...
That's a big one.
Yeah, that's huge, that one. As you can see, look, there's the length of a hand. It's a fair size spear.
Okay, a normal hand.
Yeah. And yeah, again, strapped to poles and, you know, speared into things with a jagged edge so they wouldn't be coming out.
And these would be quite old as well, do you reckon?
Look, these are hard to date, but yeah, probably 1930, something like that, but just been framed up for the collector to enjoy and have a look nice on the wall. But yeah, I like collecting these personally, and I think they look great in the home on the wall.
Great, thank you very much, Matt.
So I hope you've all learnt something about some artefacts today and seen some wacky and unusual items once again on Talking Treasures.
Stay tuned to Talking Treasures, because after the break we've got more little treasures coming up.